If I could convince you that there's a panel of the stars of Squadron 42 coming at Citizencon this year, what would that mean for the rest of the content that we're likely to see? We've got, what, just over a month to go now until the event itself, and some pretty bold claims have been made. Things like, if ever there was a Citizencon, not to be missed, and that interesting gala event that now has been cancelled, and the autograph keepsake that's coming with a premium ticket. All the indications are that CIG have something up their sleeves. But before I get into exactly what I think that is, I do want to say this, and it's more of a hope than a prediction. I hope that whatever we get, it's more than just Pyro. Pyro's been the focus of Citizencon for the last few years, and if that's the same again, it's going to be really hard for people, myself included, to hide their disappointment. I mean, sure, there was always going to be some panels about what's next in the pipeline after the launch, even if it hadn't been delayed, but I want more detail. I want the focus of Citizencon to be on what's coming after Pyro. As for the event itself, according to a recent post on Spectrum, the Citizencon venue will be active duty Bengal themed. Which is damn cool. I can't wait to see it. And bear that little detail in mind, because we'll be coming back to it in a bit. Look, whatever does happen at Citizencon, it's safe to say that what we'll see next month isn't what CIG envisioned at the end of last year. Much of that has to do with the delay of the launch of Pyro itself. I mean, this time last year, they had hoped to have Pyro in our hands over the summer, meaning we'd already be playing it and static server meshing would have been in. The thing is, even before we knew it was being delayed, CIG were making really big claims about Citizencon, meaning whatever they've been alluding to isn't the launch of Pyro itself, but something else. Something after. Something like a Squadron 42 release date. I know. I might as well have said a unicorn. It wouldn't be the first time CIG have said something that's almost ready, feature complete in this case, and then it just doesn't turn up. There seem to be subtle hints all over the place, starting with the idea of this panel. The gala that was originally planned for the Friday before Citizencon was a separate ticketed event that was going to be hyper limited and no doubt very expensive. It mentioned very special guests, and it would be really weird of CIG to refer to themselves as very special guests. And we've also had all of CIG's top brass at previous Citizencons, so what precisely is making them special this time round, if that's what they're referring to? Sounds very much to me like they were referring to someone else. And if you've been to Citizencon before, you'll know that during one of the breaks in the evenings, there's a big lineup and you take your program and everyone gets to see all the staff sat down at their desks and you go and get your program signed and you have a quick 30 seconds to talk with them. And that happens every single time. And it doesn't get charged for. It's just whether or not you want to wait round at the end of a pretty long day. It's never been paywalled. So my question is, whose autograph or autographs are on that keepsake advertised with a premium ticket when everyone can get the staff's autographs anyway? And that's what I think CIG have up their sleeve. I think there's going to be this guest panel. And the only reason to have a guest panel like that this year, of all the years that Squadron 42 is being in development, is because we're getting a release date. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be out in October. I want to make that clear. But I think that's likely what we're getting. And there's a bunch of other anecdotal evidence as well. I mean, the Bengal setting. The Bengal's got naff all to do with PU at the moment. We see it once a year, and that's not likely to change at any point in the future. The Digital Goodies Pack has the P8AR, the primary assault rifle of Squadron 42. The Squadron 42 updates that are released every month have been getting smaller and smaller, and they've been focusing more on the finer details, which seems to indicate all the big ticket items have been completed. And if it is a release, you would expect CIG to do something like a guest panel, and hopefully a playable section of the game, a vertical slice, for attendees to try. Now, I know I'm likely to get egg on my face with this whole video because it won't be that and people will laugh and point and whatever else, but, you know, have your chance now to get your shots in. Let me know in YouTube, because at least then, if I'm right and you're wrong, I get to laugh at you in the comments. That's how that works, right? I mean, just assuming that that's going to be the case for now, it opens a lot of interesting possibilities as to other things that we might see, other things that we've not yet had demoed that can be ported across from the single player into the PU. Hopefully a lot more environmental interactivity, problem solving and that sort of stuff, or just the option to use the environment in a more kind of interactive way. I'm thinking throwing lots of stuff at FPS opponents and killing them. You know, it could be things like the ships that have been behind this policy from CIG for ages of no Squadron 42 spoilers. We might see them in much more depth. We might even get something like Vandal piloted ships or even FPS opponents in the PU as part of contracts. As for what else we may see or probably won't see at Citizencon, I just want to take you through a few of those. I'm going to guess that we'll see nothing more about base building than a work in progress update, considering that only started work at the beginning of the year. It's likely too much to ask that there'll be anything coming for imminent inclusion in the game. But what I am expecting to see is another gameplay loop. Something beyond the engineering and resource management that we're seeing a lot of at the moment. It might be hacking, given how many times that's been on the roadmap. It might be data running and expansion of exploration. It might even be refining, seeing as the Crucible's been sold. But regardless, I think we'll get a peek at the next game loop that they have in the works, even if it's not for inclusion for a while. The one thing I'd like to see, that I don't think we're getting, is a detailed progress update on the Quanta economy simulation. That was such a big hit at the last Citizencon I was at in 2019, but the fact that server meshing isn't in likely means they haven't got a lot of the back-end code figured out, and Quanta needs to be wired into that to pull the data out to run the economy. If the foundation isn't built, you can't build stuff on top of it. So I think the most we're likely to get is a passing mention of Quanta. Yes, it's still in the works, but I doubt we're likely to see anything in depth. As for new ships, I know this is popular, but honestly, your guess is mine. I would have said the Atlas, but that's just come out at a ridiculous price point, but that's a video for another time. I wouldn't mind betting we see the new Crusader Industries as yet unnamed starter ship as part of a game package as well as for individual sale, but the rest, for me, is speculation at this point. Just don't mention an Anvil capital ship, because I think at this point you're more likely to find Bigfoot. I'm going to be attending this year, and I'm going to be taking the camera with me. Now, my primary focus on Citizencon is going to be meeting members of the community, both people within DGP and people outside. I can't wait to meet up with the info runners. There's a whole bunch of people that I know around the community that I'm really looking forward to seeing. And I don't want to lessen my time with those by spending ages trying to set up interviews and all that sort of stuff. And bearing in mind that some of us are actually going down to London to enjoy ourselves after Citizencon, because we've got people coming all the way across from America. That's going to be a lot of fun. But it means that whatever content I do release, it won't be out until midweek, late week, the week after. So, like a news headlines thing, you guys are already going to know. If you've not watched the live streams yourselves, you'll certainly have caught up with someone else's channel. So what would you like? Just a walk around? A little bit of a video diary? I mean, you guys let me know down in the comments. You know what to do. I just want to make sure that whatever I release is something that you guys really want to see, rather than me coming up with an idea that no one wants. You've been watching Drinkers with Gaming Problems. Thank you very much for stopping by. I'll see you soon.